We're back at 6:24 in today's Money Talk. As your family gathers together for Thanksgiving, you may want to discuss more than the latest sports scores. In fact, our guest today says it's the perfect time to talk about family finances. Financial professional Mark Goldstein is here to explain. Now, way to ruin our fun time for the holiday, right?
Well, there's
Talk
never
about money.
I know. There's never a perfect time for anything.
Right.
There's never a perfect time to get married, to start a family, to start a business, or have discussions about money. But if you wait for the perfect time, it never comes.
Exactly. Right.
So just do it.
Just
launch into it.
Yeah, there you go. And so, what are we talking about specifically? What topics should need to be discussed with your family? What are those first topics that you should focus on?
Well, in the last segment, we talked about the estate plan, and the cornerstone is the will. 64% of adult Americans don't have a will.
Right.
Even famous people with money, for instance. And what do you think the number one reason is not to have a will?
Not to have a will?
Why do people put it off, would you say?
I would say they don't know who they're going to give the money to, or who they're going to leave what to. That would be my biggest,
They just never get around to it. They don't feel a sense of urgency.
They don't. Okay.
80%.
Right.
Say because we have time. We have time.
So
Pablo, you go.
What happens in that case when you don't have a will? Then it just gets divided evenly among.
Well, it goes through the probate process. You'll go through the probate process anyway, even if you have a will.
Right.
If you want to avoid that, you have a living trust.
Right.
But
then people start fighting over your money.
Difficult.
You don't want that. Yeah, you don't want that. You want things to be all lined up.
Pablo
and you never
Picasso had in his estate the most expensive collection of artwork in the 20th century. Mm-hmm. He had 5 homes. He had a ton of gold and cash and bonds. He didn't have a will. Mm. So his heirs fought over his estate for 6 years. It cost over $30 million. Abraham Lincoln didn't have a will.
Right.
He probably figured, what are the chances I'm going to get assassinated? I've got time. I don't know.
Right.
Sonny Bono didn't have a will. He was a billionaire.
Mm-hmm. But you
and
never
people
know
put
when
it
that's
off.
going to happen.
That's right.
Right. And then you leave it to others to have to fight over your money.
And it's messy.
Yeah, you don't want that, especially in the family. If you have multiple kids.
Well, you're going through the probate process, and it's just more complicated. If you don't have a will, there's the cost, the delay, the publicity, and it's a big mess. It can be easily avoided. So we talked about that, and I think that you need to get a good handle on income and expenses. The Fidelity Investments did a survey last year, and on average, adult children underestimated the estate of their parents by over $300,000.
Wow.
And a couple of years ago, it was $100,000. So there's been an increase. People aren't communicating.
Interesting. Okay.
But you got to get a good handle on income and expenses. And when I work with people, as you get older, I mean, wouldn't you agree that you should be, less risk, more safety as you get older?
Sure.
Right.
Right.
And I find that people typically have too much money at risk, paying too much in fees, or they've got too much money that's safe but not earning anything. And there's a middle ground where you can have your cake and eat it too.
Absolutely.
So
which is what you want.
Yeah, you want safety, but you want your money working hard for you.
Absolutely.
And they're not taking advantage of tax saving strategies as well, which could be using life insurance or Roth IRAs. There's a number of tools available that you got to get together with whoever your financial advisor is.
Right.
Should talk to the adult children. Everybody should be on the same page.
Yeah, communicate.
And,
communicate so you all know what's going
answer.
on. Absolutely. And then personal records also, financial records are a big part of that too. We're almost out of time, so real quick, wrap
Financial
that up.
records, you should have a letter of instruction.
Okay.
Should be in a safety deposit box or somewhere, and know how to access it. That should spell out, what do you want? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated?
Sure.
Do you want a funeral? Do you want a memorial service? What about organ donations? What about, do you want charitable contributions made in your name? You should have your estate documents, all this stuff, brokerage accounts, savings accounts, all that information. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's got to be done because if you don't do it, it's a bit mess later on.
Right. You can't be over-prepared, right?
Oh,
never.
You got it.
Yeah.
All
right, Mark. Thank you so much. Always
Robert,
great advice.
it's a
We'll see you next time.
I look forward to it.
We appreciate it. And give us your website real fast for resources.
It's safemoneyalliance.net.
Perfect. Go on by. Resources for everything
the
financial.
best website for anything having to do with money, in my opinion.
Well, of course.
Not to brag or boast.
All right, thanks so much. We'll be back after the break. Stay with us.